entertain yourself before you be comfortable being with someone and entertaining them. So my experience is I can get in my own zone and I can enjoy myself. And what do you mean by that? Maybe someone's wondering. That means I can take myself to dinner or take myself to lunch, enjoy me. So this way, if the other person do come along in my life, I know I'm comfortable with me, and they see that I'm comfortable with me, and they have a tendency to be comfortable with themselves. And we're comfortable with ourselves, and therefore we can be comfortable with someone else.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're not grounded and certain within yourself, that's when you get lost into the other person's life.
Exactly.
You'll get lost and it's all
and you have your own life. This is your life.
Yeah. I like that. You might want to repeat that. But no.
If you're not grounded on it within yourself, you will get lost into the other person's life. You will, especially if that other person isn't secure within themselves, because they'll need constant reassurance. You'll have to constantly show them and prove to them like, oh, I'm here for you. Oh, this thing is real. But it becomes one-sided.
I agree with that. And that's where, when you guys agree, that's where the conflict comes in. Yeah. Because here you are, you're comfortable with yourself, but then you have the person that you're dating, they're not comfortable with themselves, and then that's when the conflict comes in.
60-40. The relationship will be 60-40. Everything is balanced. You have to have balance within everything. Everything is within moderation.
I agree with that.
You have to,
And then a lot of people, sometimes I work and talk with a lot of people, they always say, where do I go wrong? Where do I go wrong? And they don't look at it.
Takes two to tango.
It does take two, and we all do play a part. But the most important thing is if you're feeling really comfortable with yourself and have self-worth, it helps you along the way with any relationship. And by the way, when we think of relationship, we're not always just thinking about a man or a woman. You can have a relationship with your children, with a parent. It's the co-workers, relationships, it goes abroad.
That was another thing that was a problem in my relationship. I had a child, I had my daughter. She wasn't really pushing me towards to see my child, to really be in my child's life all the time. So all of my emotion and my time was invested into my relationship with her. And my child was being deprived.
Yeah, no.
So, but I was so caught up in like what did they say? The honeymoon stage?
Exactly.
The honeymoon, so I was just, it was just everything.
Right, you mentioned earlier having the balance. That's where the balance come in.
Yeah.
You have to balance out with your children as opposed to the person that you're seeing. So I think it's, long as we kind of like educate ourselves on relationships. And don't be afraid to get coaching when it comes to relationships. Get someone that can coach you and can help you with your relationship. You don't have all the answers, so stop thinking that you have the answers because you don't. And you're never too old to not get any type of advice as far as relationships. That's another problem too. You have things that because they're older, they might be in 50s, 60s, that they know it all, they're right. You have not.
And they're complacent. They're stuck in the same rut, like the same thing. Like they don't want to.
Once you become closed-minded, you stop growing. You stop growing, and that's just what it is, and that's just what it is. You stop growing when you become closed-minded and you don't want to hear anyone else's point of view, and like you said, you think you have all the answers and you don't.
And a good relationship, like someone comes home and they're in a bad mood. A lot will just feed into that and they get in a bad mood too. Instead of knowing their partner, and it's like, okay, let's talk about it. What happened? Trying to bring them back into a better mood.
I agree with that too, Linda, because you mentioned something in learning your partner. It might even be a scenario, for example, if they come home with a bad mood, you should know them enough to say, okay, I'm going to give them some time.
And it's not you that did it. A lot of people take it, what do I do?
Exactly.
They're on the
So what do you do, just to piggyback off what you're saying, what do you do when you have a partner that isn't too good in the communication category? They just shut down. So how do you do, what do you do about that?
My experience with that, that's a good question you asked, Tommy.
I drop them.
What I do, I find little, because as a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up, I have experiences. I find little games, or I'll find different books. Or for example, I have, it's called a self-check. So what I do, it's a communication form as well, for communication. And what we do, we fill it out, and we be honest. So what it is asking multiple questions. How do you handle conflict? How do you handle criticism? How do you handle compliments? So what we do, we will both do the evaluation on the communication, and we sit down and we go over it. And then on the back of it, it say, what are the 3 things that you need to improve? So, for the viewers, if you're interested and you write stick, we will definitely have that next time for you. But it's a very good forum because in this way you get to see where you're falling short in the relationship and how can you come up. You know what I mean? How can you improve that? Yeah. So that is my take on that. I love this communication forum.
So it's like almost like a personal development game.
Yeah.
So we won't look, because we always been seen to be like you, it's not me.
So this is personal, exactly.
Yeah.
You fill it out, each of you will fill it out, and you sit down and you go over it, and then it has, do you agree or disagree? So that's where now you open the lines of communication, if it makes sense with each other. Because now you have everything written down, and you're looking at it, okay, and the person might say, oh yeah, I do agree that you are like this, you're kind of a little short-tempered in this area, and you kind of sit down and you discuss it, and it kind of open you both up.
Right, and that's it, nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
No one is perfect, and we all have our little pet peeves about this one doing this or that one. And you know what? Communication, and you want to address it sooner than later. You don't want it blowing up later because now you're up to here with whatever they've been doing, and communicating is the key.
And not only that, but team. This is what I like, because there's no I in team. So if you teamwork, if you're a team, there's no I. So it's not always focusing on yourself.
Right.
This is a team. This is an effort for the two of you.
Yeah, it is. I've chosen you as my life partner, and we have to work on each other together. Even if that's the case, if we found each other and we're not whole just yet, let's choose to work on each other and not be too hard on each other while we're going through the process.
Or be
and the
too hard on
journey.
yourself, because sometimes people are very hard on themselves.
When
you're hard on
especially
yourself,
me. Being a Virgo,
exactly. When you're hard on yourself,
it
it kind of filters out to the other person and makes them a little bit uncomfortable. So communication is really the key. Learn how to communicate. And sometimes communication is just saying nothing.
Exactly. You need to be happy just sitting there together.
Exactly. Comes in and he doesn't have a good mood, or she doesn't have a good mood. It's time for you to remove yourself and say, I'm going to give them their space. And maybe when they wind down or calm down, we can discuss it.
And that's so cliche. Like, people always say, communication is key, but that's truly what it is. Because you don't want to just leave, after an argument, you don't want to leave your partner just to assume. That leaves room for confusion in the relationship, and your partner just assuming, oh, you're mad at me because of this. Oh, this isn't going to work out because of this, when a 5 or 10-minute conversation could fix anything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
you don't want it dragging on. You don't want it going for a few days. If there's something going on.
Oh, that's
let me fester.
Exactly. Talk about it. Even though you might not want to talk to that person at that moment, like getting it out in the open, making sure everybody understands, like, well, this is what you did that really bothered me. And if they care about you, they're going to want to fix it.
Exactly. Right. I definitely agree with that, Linda. You made a very good point. People do drag things on, and they let it go, and now it becomes from hours to days to weeks. That is a very, very big problem. And then now the next person, they're clueless to what really happened 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So sometimes everything that's going on in life, we're so busy, we can't remember that, okay, I left the top off the toothpaste, and you was really upset about that. It's something, it's a small matter, you discuss it. Right. And you talk about it. So that, I think if people discuss their issues and problems, it can make the relationship a lot more stronger.
Yes. Relationships are work, but they're worth it.
I agree.
When somebody knows you, when they can, all of a sudden, they're finishing your sentence. They're on the same wavelength, like you didn't even say anything. It's a wonderful
thing.
Channel,
you guys are in tune.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very
possible. Relationships can be very beautiful, but I also think it takes a lot. It takes two people to want to get there.
Yes.
And it takes two people to have the same goal when it comes to a relationship. You definitely can't pull opposite ways.
You can't.
Because then that's a big problem.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that's how, like, if they care about you, they'll work on themselves. You said that.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are some relationship signs to look for.
If
they really care about this relationship.
Exactly.
That is so true. Because if you think about it, you think of the word love gives.
Yeah.
So if you care for someone, you're going to have the mentality to always give.
Yes.
So, but this is
you're going to want to make them happy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So think about it. If you have two people that want to make each other happy, that is a very solid relationship. It's almost like the person's going to outgive each other. You know, who can outgive each other, and I think it's a fun game.
I need that in my life right now.
Yeah, I think that's a fun game.
You
constantly want to give to your significant other.
Anybody free out there?
We have to really go over that word love, because do we really know what it means? Do we have a deeper love for ourselves? Or is it love because I'm going to just show you how much I care about you, I'm going to pop up at your job with flowers and stuff like that? Or am I over-giving myself? So we have to understand the word love. That's not taught in school.
No. But when you wake up in the morning and they're the first thought on your mind, or throughout the day, there's this beautiful thought of something that had just happened, and you can't wait, or all of a sudden they just texted you know, or just, I just called to say hi.
Or just because.
Yeah.
And that's what love is. Love is caring, and it's caring for the other person. It's kind of putting yourself needs on the back burner for now, and you think about the other person. I think when two people do that, and you care for one another, it makes the relationship so much stronger, it makes you wiser, and it makes you more motivated to work towards the relationship. And you guys agree? Because it's motivation. You should be motivated. So what's going to motivate you to continue to be with this person and want to be with this person, or want to work on the issues that you might have? We all have issues.
Right.
None of us is perfect. We got our issues. We have our shortcomings, but you need to want to put that out there and discuss it with each other. Wouldn't you guys agree?
I would agree, definitely. It's the reciprocation of energy, the energy exchange. You give me energy, you give me energy at your time. When it's my time to meet, now when you have to be refueled and stuff, it's my time to reproduce that energy that you put into me.
I agree.
Even a balance, going back to balance.
So, as we experience this for the couple minutes of talking about relationships, I really believe it can be done. But I also believe that people have to want to be a part of a relationship, and people should be willing to put their work in as well. It's not a one-sided. It's two people that's willing to put all the cards on the table, so to speak. That was one of the things people used to say, put all the cards on the table. So relationships can work, but you have to work it.
You do. And you know what? You have to be honest. Don't say, you know, you're having a disagreement about something, now you bring something up from 2 weeks ago. You're throwing more wood onto the fire. It's like you should have talked about that 2 weeks ago if that's what really bothered you.
It's like ammunition swept under the rug to use for later on.
Yeah, and that's, you can't do that. You can't just keep bringing things up from the past. And again, be indirect and don't just beat around the bush about things. Be honest. Yeah, and say what really bothered you. And
let's talk about it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it. And I get it. Sometimes you're just not in the mood to talk at that moment.
Yes.
Because you might be a little upset, or you can't agree.
Yes.
But it's okay. If you can't text it to yourself, I want to discuss this later on. Sometimes in the world today, we need a reminder. Right. So even if you text it to yourself and say, I want to discuss this with so-and-so, just text it to yourself. Jot down the little notes, sticky notes. We used to do the sticky notes. Now we have cell phones and technology. Make a text to yourself. But it's called working on a relationship. It's called you putting your part in, you doing your job, and hopefully the other person do theirs. But I look at it like this: if you're doing your job, and that individual is looking at you doing their job, and they see that you care, and you're concerned about the relationship, then I believe that they'll do their job.
Right.
I really do.
I agree.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions or you want to make a comment, we'd be happy to hear that. So we will be back again.
Yes, please like, share. Share on Facebook, share everywhere. Hit that bell. Subscribe to our channel. We will be back. We will keep bringing content, and just let us know how you guys feel.
And if we have not answered your question, we're looking forward to do so.
Yes.
And throw new topics out in those comments that you want us to talk about.
Yeah,
we'll
be glad to share.
We'll definitely go over.
Yes. Thank you.